All right, I hereby call this meeting of the Stones River Amateur Radio Club meeting to order on this November 4th, 2021 at 1900 hours. I'd like to welcome all, a few new faces, a few returning faces, people we haven't seen for a little while, so that's good to see. We've got a full agenda tonight of things to get through and things to discuss. And we've got people joining us in on Zoom as well. Looks like we got about 5 or 6 on there, so thank you for those who are joining us online. As always, let's start with our prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll do the pledge first. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you this evening for allowing us to convene here at the Rutherford County EMA building and be together with other ham operators and allow us to be able to communicate and have a successful club and organization, and just watch over those who are currently in quarantine and couldn't be with us this evening, and they continue to watch over the health of each and every one of the members of the Stones River Amateur Radio Club. Just be with us each and every day. Bless us as we go forward, and let us be with you in your name. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. We'll go with the officer reports. Vice President, you have anything offhand you want to?
We talked about it before. We are going to be getting something together. We're going to start looking for somebody that wants to be involved with the social media side of the club, helping out with the website, things of that nature. Marvin and I are getting together some more information with that. We'll be sending that out to everybody. That's probably the biggest thing from my side.
Okay.
Hey, Morgan.
Yes.
Go ahead and pass that mic.
Oh, yeah. So I guess I'll forget about that. As we are going into this, we'll talk about this a little bit later as we go into the meeting here, but the club's been discussing having a camera and mic to be able to pass around or to be able to use for meetings, so we can record our videos and put them on YouTube so people who can't be here or just couldn't make tonight for some reason can see it at a later time. So if we have a mic and you want to say something tonight, we'll just give you a second and we'll find Glenn. You want to run that around quick, and we'll hand that to you so we can pick it up on the audio so it's even across the board. Because everybody knows if you've watched a video with bad audio, it's like, I'm done watching. I just can't handle this anymore. I got to be done, right? So we're going to try and stay with that if we can. So just give us a second. Just say, hey, raise your hand and we'll come to you. All right. Anything else, Glenn?
As far as that, no.
Okay.
Like I said, you and I get together on that, and
Yep.
we'll get an email sent together, and we'll put together to send out for everybody.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if anyone else needs it.
All right, thank you. Secretary report. Audrey, you want to go through that real quick, or?
I'll let you.
Okay. She's typing. So in the October meeting, we called the meeting to order right away, and we went right into the ICOM America with Will Jourdain, who talked about the ICOM 705 as our presentation, as a part of the ICOM America presentation they do for various clubs. Then we went into the treasurers and secretary reports. Glenn gave a brief report on the fox hunt, and it went well, and talked about his new POTA experiences. Michael W4 OPS gave a quick report on some club gear online, and that he would give money back to the club for orders placed on his site. And then we talked about doing another, Christmas dinner, and talked about the GoPros, and we had some money that went to Filbert's estate, so that has yet to be handed over. We went to Williamson County. It was 2 weeks ago, and sold a bunch of equipment there, so some more to come to his place there. And then the Stone Mountain Ham Fest is coming up it's this weekend. Thank you for mentioning that. There you go. And then the Rutherford County Aries had their set drill as well. So that was our meeting minutes for the month of October. In brief summary, can we get a motion to have the approval of the minutes as read?
So moved.
Warren moves the meeting and Glenn seconds it. All in favor of approving the September secretary notes, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Old business. Going into shirts, we'll talk about that real briefly. I have in the past, last month or two, I had samples of the shirt that was here. I think a lot of you saw that. And then we talked about getting a form put together. And I've got several forms here if you're interested in a shirt tonight. And I've got what it looks, I think, again, last month I had that silver shirt. I forgot to bring it tonight. But I did have a patch of what it kind of looks like on a blue piece of cloth. It is a kind of a sport polo moisture wicking shirt. And the fully promoted is going to offer them for $20. That's embroidered and all said and done. And so we can get them, I've got them in silver, blue, and black at this point. If you really want another chosen color, we can probably do that in red or something if you wanted. We could probably do that as well. But I don't have a sample of what that's going to look like. So if you're interested in a shirt, we've got those available for that. And then you'll see back to my left, there's a table back there with a few things. That comes from Club Gear Online, W4OPS, Michael Turner. He's got some cool stuff back there if you're interested. There's a t-shirt that has the club logo on there. You can take a look at that as well. So if you want a club shirt, come see me at night. We can do these as a bulk order. Again, they are kind of a sport wicking polo. We can get you those ordered, and the sooner we can get those put together, bring them all back to me, and we'll submit that as one big order to get that broke down cost. So make sure you try and get those out to me tonight. I'll get that order form sent out to people as well, and we'll get that taken care of get that put out in email and on the club website. So that is finally coming to a head there, and kind of nice to get that checked off for those who want that. So Project Saturday proposal. We've talked about that for the last 2 months and kind of trying to get ahead on this and get around it. Saturday, November 13th. We're going to do it at my house. I'll be glad to send out the address to that. We're going to do a J-pole antenna build, and then also if I can have it right in front of me, it is a 2 meter square copper pole dipole, so made out of some copper pipe. So we've had a lot of the parts already kind of donated through some other means, but I don't have the copper pipe. So it's something that's probably, and there might be 1 or 2 other small things we have to pull from that. So if we, that could be an expense to the club temporarily, and then whoever wants that, final product, that once we get it built, they can just pay the club back for the exact cost that we have into it, which would just be pretty much that copper pipe. So is it possible we could get a motion to approve some funds enough to buy?
When is it going to be on?
Saturday, November 13th. We'll do it, let's go about 9 a.m.
How many feet do you think you need?
Probably, I think if I remember right, it was right around 30 feet.
Okay.
November
So
13th?
I don't know what 30 feet of copper pipe runs roughly right offhand, but I could, probably guesstimate it's going to be at least 30, 40 bucks.
What's the date
It
again?
ain't going to be cheap, right?
What's the date again?
Saturday, November 13th.
13th.
So,
I can check it with my clients at the plumbing company. I'll check with them. So,
Okay.
They may have some scrap that I can get a hold of, even.
yeah, we need a couple, I think we need 2 10-foot sections.
Okay. I'll see if I can get a hold of
So,
them. I'll get with you on that.
we might get by with 20 feet on that, so if we can see. So what, do you have,
$36 for 10 feet of load.
$36. So we need, $72 roughly for 2 pieces of it. So
I can get it cheaper than that, I'm sure.
you can get it cheaper than that?
Yeah, I'm sure I can. Yeah.
So, Glenn will check into that. So can we get a motion maybe to approve that so we can do that at least as an expense for now? You good with that, Preston? All right, so Preston makes the motion. I guess second on that potentially? It was Ann, right? So Ann seconded that. Okay.
You just need half an inch, yeah. Okay. I'll try.
And then, okay, all in favor of the motion of approving, let's go $75 on the motion? Is that fair? Preston, since you kind of, do $100? Okay, $100. $100 motion to approve some materials to do a project Saturday to have people learn how to help build a J-pole antenna. Maybe some people haven't done it before. We've got somebody who's new at the club or that wants to become him. He might be interested in learning how to build an antenna. Might want the antenna. Who knows? Jimmy, did you have a question? Oh, Jimmy seconded. Okay. All in favor of the motion for $100 to approve some materials to buy to build a J-pole antenna for a club project on Saturday, November 13th at 9 a.m. at W0MET's residence. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, cool. Audio video camera. I'm gonna pass this around real quick here. If you guys will pass that around a little bit farther that way and look at that. So we've been talking about this for a little while. And we can, again, pass this microphone around pretty quick if we need to, if people have discussion on this. We looked initially at this Canon VIXA R80 for $349. It has the audio inputs on it. It has the ability to zoom. That's a basic video camera. Get your I want to say like your frames per second to be right around the 720 with I think a 720 with 60 frames per second, or you get 1080 with 30 frames per second. So there's that possibility. I started researching a little bit last night. Someone had mentioned the Gopro. Was it? You mentioned that last month, right? So amazing. I mean, from what I saw GoPros many years ago to what they are today, it's an incredible increase in change, which I was really shocked by. And we can get one of those for about $399 with the subscription to GoPro. And that would give us, basically if it dropped and broke, the next day, it'd be recovered. I mean, they have a no-ask, guarantee of what happens to it. And then it also allows mic input, which is good. So we can still use the Rode microphones, which is kind of what we're using tonight with Jason's system here. And then we have, the only question I really have of that is the GoPro, does it have the ability to zoom? And I think that's the very limited factor that we have coming back to that, is that I didn't say anything about zoom on there. And so I thought, well, depending on, where, like if we were just to put the camera in the room and put it at one point, what's that distance to go between there? If you wanted to turn around and zoom in on somebody else a little closer who was talking or speaking at that point for the meeting, we wouldn't be able to do that. It would just be more very broad at that point. So kind of looking for some discussion on this and where we want to go on that.
I have a question for Jason, because you probably know about these. On these microphones, it takes all three, right? It's one's the main microphone, then it's wireless.
Yes, so this is the receiver
Okay.
right here, and then you've got two mics up there.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. That's when I saw that, and after I saw the one inside the camera, that's kind of what I figured it was. So.
And you get, and all of that's for the 283 price. We'll run that. Yeah. Let's run that back to him real quick here.
And for 283, you get all three items?
No, so it's the 283 is for the Rode mic itself, and then the camera was $349.
Now let me back up. For the Rode, for the microphone system, to get the two mics and the receivers, 283.
Correct. Yes. Yep. So it gives you all the audio there for that. So, any other questions, thoughts?
Does the main receiver, does that work as a microphone as well?
No.
No, it's not. Okay.
So Glenn just asked if the main receiver acts as a microphone from the camera, so it doesn't pick up at that point. So looks like Mike's got one over.
Do we see this camera being used for anything besides just at the meeting? Field day, is it going to be something that we might take into the field? Is it going to be used, maybe an antenna build? Is it the GoPro seems like it might be a more interesting option for its flexibility, its durability, but the fact that it doesn't have a zoom.
The new ones do.
Oh, the new ones do.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
The new ones do have zoom?
The new GoPro Hero 9 and 8 have zoom.
Well, I'll learn something new there.
So does a 10 have zoom? Can we find that out?
I've got the black Hero 8 black, it does not have zoom.
It does not have zoom.
I haven't found it.
Interesting.
I didn't think they had zoom. So, but
I'm just wondering if the extra $50 for the GoPro would balance out against the flexibility if we want to deploy it in a lot of different.
and all those events that you discussed, having the field days and any project Saturdays and any other future tower builds or takedowns, things like that, all those type of events. I think we could always record some of those and put those on. And if we do something I'd like to get into a little bit later, we could certainly do more recording and put more out there. on YouTube. We have a full channel to do whatever, and might as well build our base. So
I mean, now, I will say that, the GoPro does give you more of a, like when I'm climbing towers and stuff, I've got one mounted right here.
Right.
But I mean, and I think, like I understand what he's saying too, like on field days. I mean, if it started to rain, that camera has a chance of getting moisture problems, where a GoPro is going to be in this case a little less likely, that kind of thing. I think that's where you think of the protection part of it.
Exactly,
Yeah, you're going to have.
It's small, you can clip it, you can
Yeah,
do
you
all
can-
sorts of stuff with it.
do about quite a few things with it. And I think it's where the thought is, where the one camera's great for the meeting side, but out in the field, the GoPro would probably be, in some ways, might be a better choice. So it's that's where you kind of weigh them out.
That Vixie is probably better if it's just going to be
for the meeting
for the
purpose only.
meetings, more flexible, sure, but it's just something I wanted to bring up to consider.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why we want to have that discussion.
Well,
Mark.
I understand what you're saying about the GoPro, but we are looking at a 50 an ease and even $50 difference. One of the things about the Canon camera does have a monitor on it that you can forward face that monitor. So if you're recording yourself, you can actually see what's being recorded. You don't have that option with the GoPro.
GoPro 10 you do.
The GoPro 10 you do.
GoPro 10 you do.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they constantly keep changing it, for sure.
Yeah.
And my only other thought about having on the Canon side, say on field day, if it's on a tripod or something, and there's always dogs. I'd say there's always dogs out running around. There's people walking around too. Somebody hits the tripod, knocks the camera over. The GoPro probably could handle it a whole lot better. Could take the hit a whole lot easier than an actual, the Canon probably would, as far as smacking the pavement. Just something to think of, I guess too. But again, if you got the warranty and complete recoveries there, you should be fine.
Yeah.
It's kind of a, I'm kind of torn up thinking about it myself, because the Canon has some great options, especially in this type of situation, and even in field day options as far as like zooming in on towers and antennas and things of that nature. But he makes a perfect, great valid point as far as having the GoPro and its durability and stuff and holding up. So sounds like I need to buy one and just bring it to the club stuff and be done with it and get the Canon.
What?
Why don't we get Jason's opinion?
Yes, there we go.
It depends.
It totally depends, because it's all in what you want to do. You can take a GoPro, even if I can't get the zoom factor that I can out of a camera like we're using tonight, I can always move the camera in.
Right.
I walk closer to you and do the same thing that I can do with a zoom lens.
And also in the video editing part, you can do. I've done that before. You got some footage there. You can zoom in a little bit as well. So.
Right. Okay. Any other thoughts, discussions, questions?
This 10 does not do optical zooming.
It does.
But
So-
it's more where it zooms in on the pixels versus the true digital zoom like what you would have with a Canon camera. I mean, there's plus and minuses to both things. The weather and durability, you can't beat the GoPro.
It's got a lot of flexibility
For
for.
stuff like that, the Canon's the way to go.
It does have a lot of flexibility on that mounting options on the GoPro itself. So there is that option for sure. So.
Tell me about it.
Canon on your hat.
I throw out one more consideration. I don't know if this is something that we would want to consider. I think the GoPro is 4K, where that Canon is 1080p.
True,
I don't know if
so
we'd
you
be in
do
a
have a-
situation where we want to do 4K, but it's more pixels.
It actually goes up to 5K. The new the Hero 10 goes up to 5K. It's incredible images
Yeah.
at that point. So
I don't know if we'd ever need that, but again, flexibility.
a lot of flexibility. And apparently, Glenn, I think you can talk to this a little bit. The editing from a GoPro is actually pretty easy, and it actually will change over to like MP4s.
There's a lot of options you can do there once you export out, like Final Cut or anything like that.
Yep. So you can do a lot of export options from that, and different types of video styles if you need to. So
The quality on the 4K stuff's phenomenal looking. It really
is phenomenal.
I know the drone footage they had of me, climbing that one tower and stuff. It was, it's such a major difference from the 1080p that I have. Because I only have a Hero. I have a Hero 3, so mine's really an old one, and so it only does the 1080p. So it's a big difference in that. And so, but the 4K is nice. But
Well, in the 8, 9, 10, you can also control from cell phone.
true.
As well as edit.
And it works like a regular viewfinder,
Oh,
basically.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, but, like I said before, there's plus and minuses depending on the use.
The one-
Out in the field, I would say GoPro.
The one thing I do like about that GoPro, it did have Wi-Fi capability, And you can also do web streaming with that. So we could potentially future in the, record and stream videos if we wanted to live, which I don't know we'd have that ability with the Canon camera. So
I can see that being a good plus on the field days and things of that nature, as far as ways of promoting the events and things of that nature.
absolutely.
Because we could do live stream straight off of YouTube that way. We did, when we're doing meetings years, earlier.
So we're looking at investment of roughly 613, 612, something like that, 612, if I can add my math right quickly. So it'd be a little over $600 purchase for us as a club to be able to do that, to have the ability to, continue to grow and get our word out on social media and continue to expand our membership. I mean, that's what it's going to, ultimately, hopefully grow and be a part of. And give the members ability who can't be here and can't do things at certain times, see what's going on. And so I think that will gain a lot of interest and continue to help us as well. So it's up to you guys as membership, to decide that. I'm just the president. I kind of give you the direction and leading, but you guys ultimately make that decision in the end. So, Doug?
Okay, I've been sitting here listening to the advantages of both systems. Okay, admittedly, the GoPro in the long run would have more versatility. My thought though is that when we first get started using this equipment, I think the Canon would be the route to go because, all right, it's more like a camera.
Right.
More people would be accustomed or adaptable to running that piece of equipment than they would the GoPro.
Potentially. Yeah, I know we have quite a few members who have one or have used them, so that's
Well,
potential. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
In the end, if we find that the GoPro would be more advantageous, then fine.
Right.
But to start out, I would say start with the Canon system, learn the ins and outs of it, and what we can do with it. I hate to see that amount of money spent for something that down the road will fall by the wayside.
Right. No, and absolutely, that's why it is a huge investment for the club to be able to take on and do something like that. And so we're looking at a $50 difference between the two at this point. So you're going to have a huge investment either way, I think, on that. So it's whether it's $349 or $399 for the two cameras, I think it's pretty small, but.
One thought, the GoPro being 4K is a little bit closer to state of the art, and that would be kind of nice. Any of the TV equipment that's out there now is going to be 4K, and it's kind of nice to have that as an advantage. It certainly has a few things that it can't do real well. But I think down the road, if we wanted to add to that, we could certainly pick up another camera.
True.
And the price on these things is probably going to be coming down over the years.
Yeah.
Exactly what I said.
For sure. All right. Any other thoughts or before we kind of bring to a vote on this and what we want to look at or get a motion on the table? If anybody wants to make a proposal?
I got a question.
Go for it.
Which one is the most rugged of the two?
Your Hero 10 for the GoPro
definitely.
definitely be more rugged at that point. So
I've
sure.
beaten my Hero 3 to death, and it's still going. Yeah, so.
I mean, those things take beatings
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I've had it.
They're used in all kinds of action shots and
I mean, that may
movies
be
and.
that may be a primary consideration. I don't know.
True.
But,
I mean, they use them in movies and everything else sometimes for recording things. So I mean, it works.
what kind of severe service is this thing going to see?
Us,
Enough said.
Yeah, probably about
Asked and
right.
answered.
So,
We're gonna bang it up.
right.
Well, I think the big thing with 4 or 5K, if you're looking at it on your laptop, you can scroll it, scan in, and you can look at somebody's, blades of the grass. I mean, it's just,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back in. With 4 and 5K, you had that capability. Now, granted, the majority of the time, you probably aren't gonna be filming at 4 or 5K. But, durability, I mean, probably the suggestion would be if somebody has a 10, that they could bring it in and record a meeting side by side, and then compare.
Right.
I mean, I've got a name I can bring in. I meant to grab it, but
Well, how long have you had your Hero 3?
Maybe 8 years. I've had it for a long time.
So it's last a while. So I
I
mean,
use it on my motorcycle. I use it to climb the towers, and I mean, I beat it. And the biggest thing is the plastic case is scraped up and either stuff in David's toolbox. Or
I just don't see us replacing this thing in 2 or 3 years having because it doesn't hold up or isn't crap. If yours is held up that long, it's still around
bounced off the emergency
and still working.
It won't be obsolete
So.
as fast either.
I think Jimmy's got a question, Glenn.
Does GoPro have any refurbished models?
Not that I've seen. I didn't see anything on their site, but that don't mean they don't have them. But probably not.
you can get
So.
open box GoPros from Best Buy and stuff like that.
No, I was talking about from the
Usually it's only
manufacturer.
about a $50 discount, if that.
Yeah, there was one. I think it was $429 for an open box one from Best Buy, and you can buy a brand new Hero 10 for $499 from Best Buy. But if you go through GoPro directly, you can actually get it for $399, and you get their. It's a $50 service that you're basically paying for, kind of free for 1 year, and that will give that warranty. Say you drop it, break it, no questions asked type of return. So, and you can have unlimited upload to the cloud. They give you a lot of features and options for going with them directly versus buying it through a third party like Best Buy or something. So it's a much cheaper.
I wasn't talking about third party, I was talking about from the factory.
Yeah, if you buy it directly through.
Any manufacturer like that has refurbished returns, all you gotta do is contact them.
Yeah, I guess we could try and contact them and see if they have
It's
anything
not gonna
cheaper.
hurt.
Won't hurt. Yeah.
And I haven't done a whole lot of looking up on the 10, the Hero 10 yet, but and on my GoPro or my 3, there's a case around the actual camera, and so if it gets banged up, you can always replace the case and things of that nature.
Yeah, you can buy extra
and I'm sure the
cases,
10
too.
may be the same way.
The drawback with the 8 is that the lens is not replaceable, where the earlier ones, 7 and below, I think the lenses were.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I think they went back to.
They went back to that on.
10.
I believe so too.
On
yes.
Heroes 9 and 10,
I
you
heard-
can
I heard
actually
a little
replace
bit
the
about
lens.
10, but not
But
much.
you can purchase, I mean, they have so many features that you can buy and add to this thing. I mean, you can put a zoom lens on it.
Yeah, they do have attachment for,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just,
It's pretty much endless.
capabilities are endless.
Yeah, I've actually took like a big metal clamp one time and drilled a hole in it and put a screw in it that could screw my GoPro in. I could clamp it on anything, anywhere, that kind of
Plus,
thing.
it's go down to 90 feet.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, as far as water or anything.
All right, Jimmy, do you have something, or Mike?
I was curious, I was looking, for what I'm reading, it appears that the GoPro 10 needs an external microphone adapter for external mics, and I'm just curious.
And that's what that road piece is. If you own that sheet of paper that's going around, I didn't print off a ton of them, but give me 1 second. Tom, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I'd say let's bring it on up to a vote. I'm all for the better quality. I think it's the GoPro. Is that it?
That is GoPro, yes.
Yep.
So
I make a motion. We approve. What is it? We're looking at about 2 of them.
we're looking at one GoPro and then the Rode microphone system to integrate with it for sound, for audio.
Okay, I vote for that. I move that that's what we do.
Okay.
Second that.
Tom makes a motion to approve the GoPro and the Rode mic system. And I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Thomas.
Oh, Thomas. Okay.
Second
Yep. Yep. I see it. KN4MNB. So, all right. All right. So, a motion is on the table to approve the GoPro and the Rode microphone system. All in favor of that purchase, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
We got 3 opposed, but ayes carry it. Motion passes. So, all right, cool. We'll look at getting that going, and I'll figure out with Carl how we want to purchase those and get that taken care of. All right, and we'll start to probably start that process in January, just simply because we have our Christmas meeting. Our next meeting will be our Christmas dinner at Legends. So, moving into new business, we're gonna just work down this list. Our first thing being elections, and then we'll carry the meeting on from there. So the two positions that are open for election this time are the secretary and the president's position, my position. So at this point, I will open the floor for any nominations for the office of secretary.
I'll stay on if nobody else wants it.
nominate Audrey.
You what?
I'll nominate Audrey.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have Audrey for a nomination of secretary. Anybody else?
I move nominations cease and she be elected acclamation.
Tom, cut that short.
I love you, Tom, and you want what, when?
All right. Just real quick, any other nominations or somebody wants to nominate themselves?
Campaigns are cheap when you run unopposed.
All right. All right. All in favor of the position of secretary for Audrey Lowe as secretary, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, Secretary Lowe or Audrey Lowe is our new secretary. So
20-year term.
there you go.
Oh, no, wait a minute here.
Well, unfortunately, our bylaws say every 2 years or every 2 cycles of elections you have to step down. So, all right. Nominations for the office of president.
I'll nominate the current president.
I'll second that.
All right.
Motion to close.
Any other? Well, any other nominations? Anybody wants to take president? Okay. All in favor of Marvin Turner for office of president, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Not everyone at once. Motion passes on ayes. Marvin is again the new president for the next 2 terms, or the next term, I should say, for the next 2 years. So, all right.
Like it or not.
That's right. Well, I'll put it this way, is that if it's good enough to let me for another 2 years, you liked what I've been doing for the past 2. So, I didn't hear any ayes or any nays opposing it, so that's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's a good vote of confidence. I will take that. Mr. Tom Duck. Go. Who was it? Oh, somebody. Oh, it was my brother saying something. Anyway, Christmas parade. Tom Delker, you're on deck. We have fun at these meetings, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. Hi, guys. Let's see. Recently, the Christmas Parade Committee met with the organizers, and we're going to have one. And it looks like we're going to need some extra assistance. I think in the far lot where they organize the parade, the Exchange Club is aging out on us, and their ranks are dwindling. They've still got some people. I think they're going to help and work with it. The city of Murfreesboro is taking over operations or organization of the parade. WGNS is still going to be involved, but Leanne is kind of walking her way out, and the city is coming in to bring their resources to it, which makes a lot of sense because they're, they've got a lot of skin in the game, so to speak. And they'll help us work with MTSU. The operational plan's basically the same. We do like we do with the camper and the parking lot, the parking services lot, and all the lineup and everything will work pretty much the same. Just need more hands on deck. So, Marvin, maybe you can kind of collect a list of those who want to help again this year. It's the second Sunday in December, and
December 12th at 2 p.m.
Yeah, December 12th. So if you kind of gather a list of volunteers, we'll start putting together the operational plan and the duty list. Everybody that's done this in the past is welcome to have the position that you've had before. If you want to try something different, let us know, and we'll try to accommodate everybody as best we can, and also have a lot of fun as usual.
We do have a lot of fun with it every year. We definitely will need some help and some volunteers. So we usually start around 8 o'clock on that Sunday morning. And it is Sunday, correct? Is that right?
Yeah, it's Sunday, and we do the setup on Saturday.
Right? Saturday afternoon, then we'll start Sunday morning right about 8 o'clock. We start rolling in, and the parade's at 2, and we're usually out of there by 4, so 4:30. So anyway, get a hold of myself or Tom if you're interested. We'd love to have you come out and help us and join in. And again, the what was the other club that's kind of fading out on us, Tom?
The Murfreesboro Exchange.
Oh, the Exchange Club, yeah. So we may have to start helping replace some of them and start doing some of those positions, and so we may need more people. So please feel free.
Luckily, we're going to have some of the city of Murfreesboro. The Parks Department is the office that's going to be doing the organization, and they already have the Santa float, and they're getting it all fixed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And away we go.
Very good. So if you want to help with that, please reach out to myself or Tom, and we'll get you squared away.
For some of us who weren't here last year, same as last year isn't a meaningful term. Can you give us a thumbnail of what the support crew looks like?
So we usually have Tom is in his trailer in parking services at MTSU, and he sets up a repeater from that location. And then we have probably 4 or 5 people, Tom, kind of along the over in the registration lot, which is a big empty parking lot off of Rutherford. It's off Rutherford in Middle Tennessee, and they go through and register all the floats when they come in. And so there's people sitting at tables to help with that, and that's where the Exchange Club does a lot of that. But then once they kind of get their number and get lined up, we get them directed over to Alumni Boulevard, and we line them up as they come in, as they register. They come in, they line up for the parade, and then we help actually do a lot of the traffic direction to get them from that lineup down onto Main Street. And then myself and Jimmy will usually start that parade right around 155, getting the fire trucks and the ambulances rolling, and getting everything at the main, at the next stop intersection. I don't remember what that is right offhand, and get that rolling by 2 o'clock. And then after that, it's just getting that traffic directed out of there. There's a little bit of an L shape that has to come to get on that into the main parade route, and getting the bands and the dancers and some of those other groups like that inserted into the parade along the way at the very beginning. So when they're all in line by the time they get down to the main crowd where they're at. So, but it's usually it's a busy time and a lot going on. So
one thing I would make note of, anybody working traffic, if you're actually working the traffic part, you want to have some thick skin because it can get interesting.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Yeah, I did it one time and I was kind of shocked. So,
it's not the kids, it's the parents.
Yes, the parents.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
The band.
Because you're trying to get everybody in that area, and then they're trying to turn around and get out of there, but yet half the roads are blocked. Yeah. So that becomes very frustrating a lot of the times. So
I was told I was not a cop at least 10 times.
Exactly. Oh, that's funny. So, but yeah, there's lots of opportunity for people to help out, in various ways. So we'll find a way to insert you and get you coordinated somewhere. The next thing I came across is, I've told you multiple times that I watch Ham Nation. And that's a program that's, aired every 2 weeks. It's hosted by Josh Naz with Ham Radio Crash Course on YouTube. And so they, are on there every 2 weeks doing their show. And this last week, they had a really interesting group on there called Amateur Radio Digital Communications, ARDC. They've been around for a number of years. I don't remember right off the top of my head. But, like 10 or so or more. And they had a bunch of IP addresses at one point, and they had like over 16 million. And they sold off about a quarter of those for a huge, huge chunk of money that's non-disclosed. And they have created an endowment out of that. And out of that endowment, they have started giving grants back to nonprofits and organizations that are amateur radio related, a lot of clubs or groups. But if there's an amateur radio operator that maybe, like say, was a teacher, and they wanted to teach their students how to solder in a school, but they needed the money to be able to buy the soldering irons and all the tools and things to do that, they would help. You could write the grant, you fill it out, you submit it, and then they will go in and potentially approve it. They do about 80% approval rate on grants. So one of my ideas is that, and I'm not here to create a separation or anything, but a number of years we know we've not had a trailer that is not being shared. And so one of my goals has been to be able to find a way to get a trailer back for our club. We have plaques and stuff. We have things that we could store. We have banners that we could all store inside that trailer. I'm not worried about where we're going to store that trailer down the road. I'll figure that out. But getting a trailer acquired and getting it put together and making another project build for the club is really a high priority and goal of mine that I want to see done. And we can use that for field day and things like that. It makes it easier for people to get in and out of, because it would have like a back ramp versus a bunch of steps to get up into and things like that. And so I kind of started roughly looking at this grant and see what it was. And it's fairly simple questions, but you have to be, I think the word I want to use is granular. You can't say, we're looking to build an emergency communications trailer for Middle Tennessee. You got to be much more specific and more detailed than that. So kind of looking for some people that want to be able to help write that, and I'm hoping that Ken Kendall will be one of those people. I don't think he's joined us this evening, but being our attorney, so kind of off the chart, but great writer overall. So I looked at some of those things, and I'm looking. It's probably a rough idea to get a couple of radios in there, some cables, some antennas, getting like a ground bar, maybe a telescoping mast, a couple things like that. The trailer, potential depending on size and what the committee might come up with, we could be somewhere in the $11,000 to $15,000 range as a rough estimate. So that would again, that group Ardc approves about 80% of the grant, or 80% of the grants that are submitted, and they would fund our whole grant. Now, if there was $15,000 left, or let's say there's $2,000 or $3,000 left over, and we only came in at $12,000 for some reason, and we came in our budget, we can finish using that for other projects to help expand amateur radio. So what the really focus is, anything amateur radio related, you can't, as an individual, go out and say, I want to put up a new repeater in my area, and they're gonna fund that. That's not gonna happen. But if you can find another way to promote amateur radio or grow the amateur radio community, then they will, probably most likely fund that. So, kind of looking at. They do that. It's cyclical. I think that's the one we're looking for. Cyclical, where they keep just all the time. So if you submit it now, we might have it approved by Christmas. Who knows? It might not get approved till January 3rd. Who knows? But they do on an ongoing basis. We might submit it next March, and they approve it in May. Whoever, it doesn't matter. But there's no timeline to that grant. But I think the sooner, because they have seemed to expand their marketing a little bit, I think the sooner we could do it, the better. And that means, so I'm kind of looking for a committee of maybe 2 to 3 people to help chair that and be a part of that and help get that thing written so we can get that submitted and pushed out. So you've already done some rough numbers? I've done some rough numbers. I pulled some stuff from like Ham Radio Outlet or Gigaparts for prices, things like that.
I mean on the trailers.
I pulled some trailer prices, yeah, depending on what you wanted. I was looking at like an 8-foot by 16-foot trailer, so you had room to put 2 good workstations in there, but yet maybe get 2 or 3 people in behind, or you could have 2 people, one as a logger, one as as the operator. You could have 4 people maybe sitting at a table.
Roughly the same size as the Aries trailer, maybe?
It's probably a little bit bigger actually than that. So
Looking at something like Ken's.
it'd be a little bit longer. It'd be a little bit wider and a little bit longer than Ken's even, because he's. Yeah, it'd be a dual axle trailer. Yep, it would be a dual axle. So, yes, Doug.
Okay, I would go along with that 100%
I'm glad to appreciate that.
providing
Right.
that it gets used?
I think there would
That
be.
is the question.
Right. So, we look at winter field day, summer field day. We've got different events we've done throughout the year. We do our Christmas parades. We've got bicycle things. I could probably pull off 5 or 6 events. We could have used it, was it Tom probably or even Adams online at the bicycle race over in Hickman County a couple weeks ago. We probably could have potentially used it there, especially if it's on a rainy day, especially if you have like some of the portable, we have Jack and Back bike ride. So there's lots of different, I think, areas and times we could use that trailer, especially because it's nasty weather. No one wants to sit outside in the rain and operate the radio. So you can always put that at one of the rest stops as a potential, a use of it. So.
That's my opinion.
And the grant, so in case somebody's thinking anything different, you're looking for the grant to cover everything. There wouldn't be extra added expenses.
There'll be no additional cost. We might have to go out and buy. It's like, you know what? Shoot, we should have bought some extra bolts or something, that we needed. We might miss out on, but the grant should be able to cover literally 99.9% of that. I don't expect any club expense to come out of this really. Again, it might be a few bolts or something we have to buy, at some point if we. But I think that would be what I would expect to be minor. So,
Pretty much a turnkey operation.
Turnkey operation. And the cool thing about this is my envision is that really this becomes a club project. And so we can have, find a Saturday and say, hey, you want to come work on this? A couple guys want to come over and work on it? Sure, we can do that. So, we can make that a project build. People learn how to, set up. Basically, you can learn almost to set up the trailer. You can learn how to set up your HF station for your own house at that point because you're going to be doing grounding. You're going to be pulling the wire. You're going to be putting all the connectors and stuff together. We'd have like a oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on it offhand. Like a rig runner, for powering everything up inside the trailer. So make it look really professional. Take our time doing it. Not a rush job. Not something we need to have completed tomorrow. Want to make sure it's done right and that we find the right parts and have an air conditioner on top. So that's one of those things I haven't taken into consideration is what that cost of something like that would be, or some of the lights that would go inside. But
what about continuing expenses such as vehicle registration, replacement tires?
That would probably have to come from the club at some point then down the road.
And if we had
So
to pay for storage somewhere?
storage we won't be paying for storage. I think we can find a way around that. So I've got some other workarounds for that one. So.
That might be a place soon too.
Yeah, so I think that's very possible.
You can store it, I'll move the boat out, you can store it there.
I need to get them deer out of the way.
So, all right. Any other thoughts or discussions on this? So I'll kind of give you the big picture of what we want to look at doing and what's your people's thoughts? And if anybody want to volunteer for the committee or want to be a part of that, or this is X the idea, what's your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know what the rift was between Stones River and Aries, but I would like to get that back together because it's going to benefit everybody.
I absolutely agree. I'm with you 110% on that one. So.
And the trailer, I think the guy, Jim Toole, the EC now, he's a good guy to work with. I think Kevin was a good guy to work with.
Right.
As far as that goes.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to cause any rift. I'm not trying to do that at all.
I'm not either.
No, right.
We're all people, we can all get along.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can make amateur radio.
But I think someone had made a request, I thought earlier this year for something for that trailer, and it was told no again. So, yeah.
I heard nothing about it.
Yeah.
If I have any say in what goes on, then we'll all come together.
Yeah, because it'd be great to have that trailer be a great use, absolutely. But since it's not, and it's like, well, keep getting told no.
We're all part of this. We're all part of the same.
And we're all part of the Aries, right? So we should be able to. But
yeah, but we're all part of the same hobby and the same thing. And I agree. I'm like you. It needs to go back to where it was. I hate that it's still separate like that. I do.
I agree.
It drives me crazy. To be honest with you.
Who's saying no?
Previously, it was Kevin and Malloy, who was the area manager, or the what's the title? The emergency coordinator for the county, and now Jim Toole. So. Tom, do you want to expand on that one? Because you were the last one who made the request for that trailer, I think.
Yeah, I'd just kind of write that off as a lost cause for right now. We'll revisit that at some other point. I make a motion that we establish a committee to study and procure a grant for said vehicle. And I've emailed Marvin with some suggestions, and I'll be happy to serve on the committee.
Thank you, Tom.
I'll second.
All right, got a second from Glenn. Any other discussion?
Go for it.
All right. All in favor of pursuing the grant and the study for a club trailer, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Tom, you have the next business, Skywarn Recognition Day coming up.
Yes, we do. Skywarn Recognition Day, first Friday in December. Typically runs 6 p.m. Friday night to 6 p.m. Saturday night. And
should be December 4th and 5th. So
yeah, it's going to be a remote event again. And I talked to Paul Carr a little bit about it, and I'd like to somehow throw together a remote event where maybe we could do some shared logging and coordinate operating K4OHX from multiple locations. And so we need to kind of get together, and maybe Glenn and I and a few can come up with some ideas on how to make that work. I know that we could do it on our mesh network. And for those that don't have it, that want to participate, we can supply them a node that can connect in. Maybe we use N3FJP field day logging software or something along that line, or maybe I think they've got a general logging version.
they do have an amateur contact log, yep.
Yeah, that might work. Does our license, I think our license is just for the field day logs. Do we have a license for the general logging program?
We do not.
Okay. All right. So that's
I will.
something we may-
You know what? I'll take that back. I do not believe we do, but I'm 95% sure we don't. So, but that 5% question, I will look into it, because if we do, I have the code for it. It's in our Google
Okay.
files.
And ask them if they got any suggestions. I know that they're not much into even state QSO parties, but this is a big enough event that if they could tailor a program that would support Skywarn Recognition Day, I think that would be a good money generator for them, and something along the lines of, it's not as big of an event as Field Day, but then again, it could be. So if you could pursue that, we'll come up with a solution.
Yeah, I'll look and see what they have for login. It's only like $8 or $9 if we need to buy it. I mean,
yeah.
So we can look at that. I won't be around that weekend. I will be in South Carolina, but yes.
Yeah. So anyway, it's an opportunity. Otherwise, everybody's welcome to operate from home, and go out there and try to collect as many contacts with weather service stations and other state. You can work everybody, but the goal is to work the weather services, and they give out certificates based on the number of weather service stations you contact.
Kind of a nice little contest even, so. Not really, but kind of, so. All right, cool. So there's Skywarn Recognition Day. Christmas dinner, December 3rd, I believe that is. Should be on that Thursday, if December 4th.
The 3rd is Friday.
The 3rd is a Friday. Let me just double check that date then. So okay, December 2nd. So that's when the next meeting will be, and that will be at Legends. And we will send out a kind of a little survey form to say, hey, who's coming? So we can start to get numbers for them, so we know whether we've got 20 people coming or whether we have 10 people coming or 30 people coming. They need to make sure they have enough room and tables, things, enough, wait staff to be able to accommodate us at that point. So
And that's Legends in Smyrna.
Legends in Smyrna, yep. So that's where we've done it. The last year they did a really great job. It was a lot of fun, good food. So we will host our Thursday, that meeting then, and I will have to double question whether I want to be there for that one or not. I may be a work-related item in Virginia, so I will have to double check that one. So, I may be out of town.
It's the cold and flu season.
Yeah, right. Yeah, unfortunately, it's my wife's birthday weekend following, so that will not work. Yeah, unfortunately, so then I'll probably just be out. So anyway, that's all we've got there for that one. Anybody, just real quick, raise the hands. Who's going to be attending the Christmas dinner? Anybody that's in here already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'll probably bring somebody. So.
Okay, so we got 15 sitting right here. So I know there's more online here that will probably join as well. So. Tom, do you mind if we give a quick update how Ingrid's doing?
Yeah, she's still at Southern Hills in the COVID unit, so to speak. They've, I think, pretty well got it knocked, but her last test was still positive, and they're working physical therapy with her.
Okay.
And hoping to transfer her to the physical therapy ward on Sunday. Obviously, and I, of course, was tested positive last Friday, and I've been in isolation, so it's best that we've been apart through this, and I won't be clear, I think, until Saturday. Anyway.
Yeah.
But she's...
All right. Cool.
Anyway, she's coming along, and we're looking for a good outcome. There's, hadn't been in danger, so she's good.
Good. Glad to hear it. Thank you for that update. Appreciate that. I know the club members, I'm sure, have been praying for her, so we'll continue. So, all right. Any additional new business? Any other thoughts, questions, discussions? Mark?
Just on this one on the Christmas parade.
Hold on. We're going to get Mike on this here. So Mark's got a question on the Christmas parade.
On the Christmas parade, it'd be nice to see if we could use APRS this year. I know a number of us have now got DMR handhelds that have APRS capability on them. So if you could look at that and make sure they're ready to go for the Christmas parade. And also make sure you got the simplex frequency that we often use. And I know Tom's got that. I think that was in the setup that Glenn's got, but just make sure your radio's set up.
Tom, are we going to use the simplex of the, was it 146.58?
Yeah, we'll have it probably linked back to the UHF 44600, but really the repeater has worked out quite well to cover the whole course, but those are always our backup and alternate frequencies, and use the crossband repeater for in the parking lot work.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, so yeah, if you have APRS on your handhelds or mobiles, make sure they're working. Maybe we'll try and incorporate that. That would be nice to incorporate in and see where people are at, no doubt.
Yeah, and obviously, due to the lots of frequencies used, we also encourage the cell phone-based apps as well, like we do with the bike rides.
The Jack and Back bike ride.
Hybrid of all of that. So bring all your toys, just kind of like field day. Deploy all the toys. We'll have the method for being able to track them.
Okay, cool. And I have one quick last thing for you, Tom. I know you had a quick update on the repeater duplexers and the change, and you had to change 2 of them out because of a couple minor issues. Do you mind expanding on that for the group?
Yeah. The duplexers that we purchased had some issues with 2 of the cans that so far have been a mystery. David Wilson and I have worked with them on multiple occasions, and in their present condition were not suitable for deployment. I have since procured 2 replacement cans thanks to the generosity of Bob Wiggins, and we're going to be swapping them out maybe hopefully Saturday to get them working, and maybe Friday night, and I'm shooting for a Saturday or a Sunday deployment. And in doing so, we need help with the site maintenance up there, the final weed eating and all of that. So I'll put together a work party and word out on when we're going to do it. And we'll need people to be out in the field to test, from home, and get a good idea of what your coverage is now and what it'll be like when we get it fixed.
Awesome. All right, so quick final summary of a couple things. If you're interested in a polo shirt here or one of the t-shirts over there, come get a shirt form here. We've got the, need a couple more, Tom, myself, and I don't know if anybody else volunteered for the committee for the trailer, for the grant. So there's that. And the, thought there's one other quick thing I had in my time wheel, but I don't see it right offhand. So anyway, I think that's all we got for initial new business. Myself and Glenn are going to do a quick presentation on some HF Go kits for setting up in whether you're going to do field day or just go out and run a quick HF operation, or what we've enjoyed doing is Parks on the Air, or also known as POTA. So for those who are
Marvin, I got one more thing.
What do you got, Tom?
Bridgecom yesterday, I believe, released, introduced a new FRS radio. It's an interesting product in that it's FRS only, not the expanded GMRS frequencies, but it's programmable to be able to program in the tones. $99 a pair. Worthy of looking at if you're looking at doing anything with FRS. So Bridgecom, and check it out.
And one other interesting note real quick on Bridgecom. Tom sent me a quick email this evening. I think one of the owners or reps from Bridgecom reached out to our club, to Tom, who's forwarded on, they're wanting to reach out to the club in general, so I'll be in touch with Josh with Bridgecom. They're looking to find a way to give back to clubs, so we'll see what that looks like as well. I don't have any other details on that yet. That just came to us this evening, but we will investigate that further. So, and then Audrey real quickly said she needs some help in getting a small freezer from Smyrna to their place here in Murfreesboro, so if we have a chance so we can find a way to help with that, that'd be awesome. Other than that, let's do presentation. All right. Did you have something, Jimmy? Oh, I thought you did. Okay. Okay, cool. So, I don't know if I got Glenn hooked on this or not, but we've got, several people in the club that are interested in doing Parks on the Air. And we've run these at I've run some of these same operations at different field days. I've traveled with this one kit particularly in a small backpack, and I should have probably brought that as a great example, but I didn't think about that time I got home and had supper and got turned around and got here. But I usually deploy this 891 and this tuner and this case right here, so pretty easy to carry by itself as a hard utility case. And I can fit the radio in there really well. It's tucked in and really well protected. I'd literally not feel uncomfortable dropping this thing from 20 feet and having her survive and be just fine. I have that much trust in it and a lot of faith. This is a Apache 4800, I think, from Harbor Freight. And they're usually, sometimes you get them on sale for like $40. So you can protect your radio and gear really easy. My 891 goes in there along with the tuner. And we get the microphone. I usually throw, my cables for programming, or not for programming, for the interaction with the computer, with the laptop, for reading it, and then the power cable, and a couple other, cables you'll see like jumper cables or between the tuner and the radio cable as well. I will literally pull this out, put this on like the tailgate of the truck, put it on a park bench, and then I've got my radio battery box. I will power this up with, I've got power poles on the side here. So I plug this cable right here into the power poles, and I've got the radio inside. It's a 20 amp hour battery, along with a small portable SWR meter I have, just if I need to test it in case I forget my big one. But I carry this whole battery just like it is here. And this, I've got a 4-foot mast from Bob over there, TN07 Engineering. And then I've had my backpack, which I put the radio and the tuner and my couple cables I needed. I put that on my back, and I carried it all the way over to Mackinac Island last summer and did a quick portable operation over there, making over 100 contacts. And so it was a really great, easy, small, it didn't take hardly any room at all to have this in a backpack. And the other antenna I used for that was the KM4 ACK antenna, which I made myself. A great little easy portable antenna, so lightweight. I run 100 watts on it. He says 50, but I've ran 100, never had a question. No. I might know where I can get another one potentially, so we'll see. But that's a quick, really easy, quick operation there. Small, portable, it doesn't take much to set it up and can travel really easy, like say in a backpack, and you're good to go. A little bit more of a more in-depth, maybe a long-term setup here is the Gator 4U case. It starts out with the with the 991A, which includes VHF, 50 megahertz, and then VHF and UHF operations. So you can do all that just on this one radio here. And it's a 100-watt radio going out. And the other one's the FTM 400, just a VHF, UHF operation only, along with the tuner for the HF radio, and then the 2 PowerWorks speakers that come with that. A lot of people are using the planar, PLANAR. They're kind of a marine grade, more maybe better for more humid conditions, or maybe if you're going to be out in some wet conditions or something like that, some rain potentially, it would better be suited for that. That's what the I'm trying to think of their company offhand. I'm drawing a blank, but the ones that produce boxes like this, and I'm really drawing a blank on their name. No, it wasn't Pelican. It's a Shack in a Box. They produce this exact same case, exact same products. All this stuff I was able to find online, and was able to get any of the connectors or the shelves I need to mount the radios to. And then I had a local guy who was a welder make me a smaller plate for mounting the 991A to, because if you buy the 991A radio, it comes with this really high plate that sits up way too high in the box. So I had to find a way to get that lowered down, lower the center of gravity on that within the box itself, so I can have that more secure mounting. That is kind of the front of it. That's what it looks like, pretty easy. The back of it is a quick, couple quick connections. So from, let's see, from this standpoint, you've got VHF, HF, your VHF, UHF, and then the VHF radio again. Actually, I had that backwards, sorry. This is the HF, VHF, and then UHF, VHF for the FTM, for the 2-meter radio. And then a ground connector, and then all my power connections are all back here as well. I plug in right there to the source, and I can power this whole kit using this 20 amp hour battery, and it lasts, it was over a 24-hour operation on field day this summer, and it worked just fine. So worked out really good. So that's a quick operation. Takes a little heavier, a little bit beefier, but I do have more capability because I can do digital radio with that 991A, where I can't do that with, well, actually I think you can do some digital with that, but it takes a little bit more. You have to have the signal linked to go with that to make that happen. So you can do the digital with that, but it's too much to carry for me. So anyway, that's kind of a quick operation for that. Glenn started this recently, and he started out, first time I saw him, we literally go after the fox hunt, and he's got his back end of his truck just loaded. He's got generators, he's got like this 100-foot roll of power cable.
LMR 400.
He's got LMR 400, and he's got just a ton of stuff in his truck. And he's, pulling out a 100-foot extension cord, moving his generator, and I'm going, good Lord, son, you're gonna have to like minimize this. You gotta take this way down. So next time I see him, he's down to exactly what you see here. So it's pretty incredible. So I'll let him share his story with that. And
pretty much when I do photo events or anything else, these 3 boxes are pretty much everything I need. This right here is basically, well, I've got a Right in the Rain notepad. I don't know if you're familiar with these, but you can use these in a pouring down rain, and they use a number 2 pencil, or you can buy the special pens. But you can write on these in the pouring down rain with no problem. They don't get messed up, so it's great for doing paper logs if you had to. But I've got just a bean bag. It's a little, basically it's just a...
Is that a weaver bag?
Yeah, it's a little weaver bag, yeah. And so, yeah, just tie a bean bag on this and sling it up into a tree. And so we're throwing a wire antenna up, and that works out really good. And so inside of here, this is a bag I happen to have, so I just kind of threw it together. I've got 2 rolls, of one short and kind of one long of RG8X. And like him, I've got the KM4 ACK antenna. This thing works great. Yeah, I can't give Jason the prompts on this thing because I've been extremely pleased with that. And a couple times I've used it, I've got a ton of contacts.
What bands does that cover? 100 watts.
I tried to melt the wire off of it, but I haven't yet at 100. So and I work it pretty hard. But no, I've been.
Does it cover?
I've used it on every, I mean, all kind of bands and no problem.
10 through 40 is what it's
Yeah.
set for. So.
Yeah, and I haven't had any problems with anything. No, you know, and I very rarely use the tuner on it. I just, you know, it just works. I've been really pleased with it. But I use the beanbag.
It's a fun little antenna to build.
It really is. But it just works great. I mean, I really have been. I've been thrilled to death about it. But yeah, that's a great antenna for the money. It really is. So. And I've been contacting places like Utah and everything else, just sit down here at Stones River Park, and for what it takes to throw it up into a tree is nothing. So you know, it's kind of surprising. So, but yeah, that's worked out really well. And then I have my 7300 sitting in this, and that's what I've been carrying around, which has worked out great.
Oh, you want to show them how that's kind of laid in there?
Yeah, it's just kind of. I just sunk it down inside the base of the foam is really how it sits, but it sits in there fine. I've got the microphone and the power cord in here, and that's pretty much how I keep that. And so.
Again, using just the Apache case for that as well. So
yeah, I'm just
great cases overall.
Yeah, they really have been. Yeah.
I do have another box I do carry on the side. I'll usually throw in the back of the truck. It's got a few more items in it, but it's because I want to know if I'm going to go versatile, especially if I was going to do something like field day. So I've got different more cables in there. I do have the TN07. I don't remember which model. It's the 105, I think it is. Again, just kind of a quick dipole, throw in the tree. Throw it up in the tree, throw it up on the mast. Real easy. It actually works really great too. I've had to use that for a little bit more on. I've had to use the tuner for a little bit more on that one. One thing I have found that's been really handy: mosquito control. You can't go out and do parks in the air and not do mosquito control at the same time. So having a box of this with a bunch of supplies for refills. Is always handy to have. I even carry, bug spray in there too, just because you have different things. I've got, the Heil microphone in here, some different zip ties. One thing we've used is cable ties like this. So if we've got your mast, we take a little small 3-foot T-stake, drive it in the ground, take the mast around the pole, tie this around the pole, wrap it around, twist it a couple times, and keep that pole in place against that small mast. And, you can throw your mast up anywhere and, no problem keeping it out in the middle of the field. Or if you don't have a post or something else to tie it to, what is you gonna do? So drive that T-stake in the ground, put the post on it, tie this around it, keep the post stable top and bottom, you're good to go. So, another couple things I keep in there is usually some amateur band plans. If you need one of those or map, we've got one of those handy. So again, it's a small little box to carry a couple things in there. Mark has, Swycard has another box about the same size roughly. Keeps a few additional items in there is just the same as well. So it never hurts to have a few things like that. But I've even got like for field day, here's a little light bulb that you can buy it for $10 on Amazon, and it plugs in via USB and it will light up your whole tent. I've used that. I plugged it into the side of the radio box or the battery box, and just kind of hung it up above me from like one of those shelters at a park. And you get a little light to continue nighttime operation with if you need to. So give you a little bit more light. The only thing I do have for this Gator box here on the front, I have not put I've got a little 19-inch LD strip. I'm going to put right in the front of here to give me some light on the front. That's the one thing that'd probably be a little helpful to have. But other than that, this has been great for that quick light. So it doesn't take a whole lot to get started. And Glenn, what do you think you have into it probably?
Well, I mean, as far as my battery box, I went way over the top of my battery box. I know Mark and I talked about it. Mark kind of kept his simple. Even Jason even said the same thing, KM4SDK, and Marvin's just kind of straightforward. I looked at my battery box, and I wanted something that was going to cover kind of all around. So pretty much it's set up. I've got power pole connections here. I have switches on everything except the power pole connections because I pretty much always use those. But I've got a switch here you can use the banana plugs, or you can go, these are come up and you can put go straight wires in there. Here I've got a 12-volt connection there, and then there's also, you can turn this on. You've got regular straight USB and then USB-C also on this connection as well. And then on here, I've actually got a light, so I've been set up at night in different parks and stuff, just be able to see and picking up your equipment or whatever. You've got something there. And currently inside, I've got everything fused and everything. So I've got a regular fuse box in here with all the different fuses on it. And currently I'm running a 16 amp hour battery. And I've got room, I'm actually going to put a second one in here, and there's going to be a solar panel connection on the back of it to where I can actually charge one while I'm waiting on the other one. So, if one goes down, I do have another option to recharge it. And so That way they can work separate. But I've got, again, everything's fused. This is all pretty much like a $9 box from Harbor Freight. The battery was probably the most expensive. I think I paid $59 for that. Everything else I just ordered off Amazon. I mean, this is probably $11. These are extremely cheap. A couple dollars here and there, but not much at all as far as money-wise.
Yeah.
Really don't. I mean, outside of this, I did buy one of these to kind of watch the voltage and things. I think I paid.
Definitely a great tool
I think
to
I
have
paid like
overall.
$20 for this, maybe. It was all. But that was it.
Mine is in my other battery, in my big case over. That's where I keep mine. I have the same thing. It's good to have. Again, pretty simple case, pretty easy wiring. You don't have to make this real complicated for a battery and the wiring in there. It's pretty easy to wire up. It can be done, just probably less than an hour with a couple of quick connectors. I'm running a 20 amp hour battery in here. It is a biennial battery. It was significantly more than your battery, but yes. But you can find batteries pretty reasonable as well for powering up things along the way. So again, I got a little portable SWR meter, and then I've also got my bigger rig expert I can carry with me at times. So feel free to come up here and look at this, play with it, kind of see what it's about, ask questions. But for a lot of people who live in homeowners associations, maybe live in an apartment complex, I know we have one of our members, he's made his vehicle his HF station. So that's how he gets out and uses HF. But for others who, like Glenn, who may live in an apartment, doesn't have the ability to put up an antenna and a big HF station, this is a great way to get out and play. And Glenn, what would you call this? I think you used the word.
What, an addiction?
Addiction. Exactly. So it gets to be a lot of fun. And I think Mark Swecker would probably indicate the same thing too, the same word. You get out there and you start doing those pileups and you go, man, it is addictive to get into.
It's a good experience, I guess, for even contesting, but just having to handle just a big rush of contact. It's amazing. It shocked me how the amount of contacts you'll have just kind of flood in from the first or second call. As soon as you spot yourself on the POTO website, it's unbelievable. I mean,
Fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, I went to Lebanon State Park. It was an hour and a half. I had almost 100 contacts. It was as fast as I can go, and finally had to stop and take a break. And it was just, it's kind of crazy.
But anyway, a ton of fun to get out and do if you can do it. So anyway, with that, no further ado. Anything else additional to wrap up the meeting and adjourn for this evening? So thank you guys. I'm honored from the president's standpoint to say thank you for being your president for the past 2 years and for being the next 2 years. So I look forward to that and leading you in the right direction, and hope some good things come from that and we continue to grow. 80 paid memberships this year, not bad. I won't complain about that. And hopefully we'll continue to grow more next year and continue to expand the club and get more people to meetings and continue to try and do more activities. But we need your help to be able to do it. So thank you for all your participation and coming, and have a great evening. Stay safe. And Stowe Mountain Ham Fest this weekend. And I thought there was something else coming up the following weekend. But what was?
I thought that was canceled.
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. So, other than that, that's all I've got. Have a good evening, and say adjourn 73.